What does raising your vibration even really mean? It is almost become an overused word, I feel like, right now in today's world of 2025. It is a place where I've had a lot of people actually asking me of, how do we discern what is good information compared to bad information? I don't actually like that comparison because I don't believe in a good information or bad information. I believe we need to choose our own truth and what resonates for all of us as individuals, and then go from there in, making up our mind in what works for us and what doesn't work for us. And so I would like to phrase it more in that way, because really, again, you have to remember everybody's on their own journey and everybody has their own perspective and their own way of interpreting things. So raising your vibration almost has come to this point where I had someone ask me, like, it almost feels like I'm no good because I'm not at a higher vibrational state of being, or I'm not this or that. And it feels like it's actually causing a lot of that worthiness wounds. And most of us, most people have some kind of worthiness type of wound about ourselves, that we're not worthy of XYZ or all the things, that you can really think of in life. But it does seem to be a little bit triggering in a lot of people's worthiness wounds about even raising your vibration. Like, what does that mean? It feels like there's this definition being put behind it that it doesn't exactly always make it feel good for a lot of people. And again, it's going to come down to how they're describing it, what they're giving, as their information, and how authentically they might be delivering that from their own space. So the more people that are more authentic and just wanting to talk about it feels more neutral to a lot of people. But then again, if it's not resonating with you, it's probably not going to make sense, right? And then your brain's going to try and put it in some kind of logical sense, because all of our brains our brain actually only functions in the physical world. And so, your physical eyes are only made to make sense of the physical world that exists here. And so it's very limited in some ways to think about the energetic aspect of that. And so the brain has a hard time putting into, well, what is raising our vibration? Because it's not something we can actually physically see. So how do I make sense of that in the head and put it into logic for, where we have this experience going on as human in this 3D world? So raising your vibration can mean a lot of different things, honestly, because it can be, again, about, first off, you need to figure out what you feel like your definition is right now. What do you think raising your vibration means to you? And when you ask yourself that, don't have any judgment of what you decide to come up with, because that's not what this is about. It's about to understand, okay, what is my definition of raising my vibration? What do I believe that to be right now? Because that will also help you understand, oh, okay, it feels good to me, or I obviously have this definition kind of, and it doesn't really make me feel great, and that's totally fine. But you need the awareness of what your definition is first, because to raise your own vibration, you need to be able to understand what the definition is, because if that definition doesn't make you feel very good, it's going to be harder to actually raise your vibration, even by doing some of the things that you've either heard or what we're going to talk about here. So raising your vibration is not hard to do, but a lot of people, again, will sometimes rephrase it and then not necessarily feel like anything's happening, or they kind of feel like they're blocking themselves somehow because it doesn't really feel like a great definition to them. So raising your vibration needs to be understood from your own awareness of what that means first. Then how to raise your vibration. There's so many different ways. Honestly, music is probably one of the most simplistic ones that most people, I think, don't even necessarily realize how much impact music actually has on us. So you listen to a good upbeat song and you can't help, your toe might be tapping, or all of a sudden you're just kind of grooving to it. And a lot of people start to do it even before they even really realize what they're doing, right? Their body almost has this instantaneous reaction in certain ways to the music, especially when you're alone. Like, let's say you're alone driving in the car, ain't nobody gonna be around you, anything like that. This is the kind of example I want to use, because this is where you can kind of start to see how effective music is, and you could change that to a sad song, right? Or something that has that lower beat, and you'll instantly feel like, oh, wow, like that really changed the whole environment just by simply changing the song. So you can think of your body being something very similar, and being aware of how you're even feeling during listening to music allows you to know where you're at in your own vibration. So it's almost like a little awareness test for yourself. If you put on a really upbeat, happy song and you're like, wow, I really can't seem to get into this, Well, that's already straight up telling you you've got something in a lower vibrational state of being that's much lower than where maybe that song is, right? But it doesn't mean you can't get up to where the song is at that higher vibe and excited and happy. You just have to allow yourself to go to that space. It's when people don't want to allow themselves to feel better or happier or groovy, let's say, listening to music. But it's a good sense of understanding where you're at too, because if you don't feel like you can allow yourself to do that, you likely have some kind of wound or trigger that might be saying, I don't deserve it. I don't deserve to feel better in this moment. Maybe you're having a bit of shame around something and maybe you just haven't recognized it as shame. Guilt and anger are often linked to shame. So if you have something like that showing up, your vibration will tell you in that exact moment, if you feel like you cannot allow yourself to get into the happier, groovier mood, that music often usually spurs in other people. So using that as a bit of a baseline, you can figure out where you're at. Now, you don't always need to know where you're at. Maybe sometimes you're just like, I just need to get out of this funk. I'm thinking too much. I'm doing these things. Music can obviously help with that a lot. Turn it on, dance around, sing along with it, whatever it is that, you feel like doing. And honestly, sometimes the sillier the better, because we start to laugh at ourselves, and laughter is going to be our second thing. Laughter can raise your vibration so fast, right? Because laughter is one of those things that you cannot help. Especially if you've ever heard somebody with this really amazing laugh and it's completely contagious. I'm sure you can think of either someone family, friends, situations maybe, or a comedian that that even if they laugh on stage, everybody's laughing with them because they have this super contagious laugh. I grew up with a couple people that had super contagious laughs and they were so fun just to be around. They didn't even have to tell a joke. All they had to do was start laughing and everybody was laughing. And that it is just this beautiful higher vibration, right? So laughter. Now, if you're like, I don't know, I don't even think I could try. Even if I watched the funniest comedian that I thought was super funny, I don't think I would laugh. That's okay. If you're feeling that low or that dense, then I would say there's actually a trick you can do, which is to make yourself start laughing, which is to practice. This is going to sound funny, but it's true. So the trick is, and little exercise is, that if you start to, you go ha, and then you start adding on ha's. So ha, 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Right? See, and I'm already laughing because I think it's hilarious. But if you do that, no joke, you will start to laugh because of how funny it even just sounds doing it, right? And the thing is, again, it comes back to, if you can't even allow yourself to do that, or you're like making it a challenge not to laugh, you're kind of not exactly looking to raise your vibration by doing something like that, right? It's almost like now you're challenging yourself, and that's not the point of this. This is the point of trying to allow yourself to do something that naturally just raises your vibration without you having to think about things, without you having to feel necessarily anything like that, right? These are very simplistic ways of doing this, and yet so impactful, and they're so much more powerful than people realize. So there's two. Music and laughter are super fantastic ways to raise your vibration. But the third one, of course, would be you can meditate. If you're someone that really enjoys meditating, or you really like being in that present moment, or breathing, breath work can be really meditative, but also can help with, obviously there's lots of different kinds of breath work, but just even simply deep breathing for like 10 breaths or something along the lines, into your nose, out through the mouth. And just allowing yourself to feel more peaceful in that moment. And that's your intention. I want to raise up my vibration a little bit. I don't want to be in my head. I don't want to be feeling dense or down, or, feeling too intensely on a non-preferable feeling you don't want to feel right now. Then breathing can also be a really simplistic way of raising your vibration as well. You might not be raising it super high by any means, but that's fine. You don't need to be. You can't ride at a high level all day, every day anyway. Your body can't stay there. That's the other thing that a lot of people don't understand about raising your vibration is it's not just one time you do it and you're good for life, right? It's something that will continue to be one of those things that you can and will need to do for yourself at all sorts of different times. But during challenging times, I would say, is where you may feel like you're wanting to have a quicker vibration and a higher vibrational state of being. So we're going to leave it at those 3 things for now, as simplistic. I don't want to get into the deep, dark, and dirty of what else can be done, but on a deeper level, we'll definitely make another video for how to do that on a much deeper level. But I hope this helps you in some shape or form. Please leave the comments if this made sense to you or resonates for you, or maybe you've got some other techniques you love to raise your vibration. I'd love to hear about them. So have a wonderful day.